Okay, welcome to Women in Nebraska. I'm Shonna Dorsey here with my friend
Jenae Lyn.
Awesome. And we're, it's
just us.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because usually we have a guest and so there's like another person to introduce. So I'm a little off my game at the moment, but I'll catch up.
It's also different camera angles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. Yes. But today's guest is Jenae, actually. So we're going to talk about her and what she's up to.
Guest.
So fantastic.
Yeah.
10-minute format, as y'all know. We record for 10 and
unedited,
no edits, all that good stuff. So
just us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Okay. So we did record an episode 0, but for those who don't know you, can you tell us about yourself?
Yes. So Jenae, I have been here in Omaha since 2007. And yeah, been working in tech. I do HR stuff during the day. I also do some additional stuff outside of work. I love to volunteer in prisons across the country. I'm really passionate about connecting with people. I do some coaching, and now I'm also working with the Institute of Trauma and Psychological Safety, which is an amazing organization with a very heavy name.
Yes. And it's so important work, such important work though, when we think about like many of our coworkers have experienced something directly or indirectly that is traumatizing. So
yeah,
can't wait to hear more about that. And I'm just remembering too that you and I met, I think during a Rise event, or not Rise, it was Defy Ventures at the time.
Yeah, you got it.
But isn't that where we first met?
I think we did. I think it was a women's networking event before
Okay, that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
So love the work in prisons, though. It's so important to support people. We all need many chances,
Amen.
As a matter of fact.
Amen. Yes.
So cool. Okay. So talk to us about your work in HR tech and then also what you're doing on the side and what's coming up.
Absolutely. So I worked at LinkedIn for about 10 years, left LinkedIn and started working for a company based out of San Francisco in an HR tech company. We did recruiting software and I was on the marketing team. Then the pandemic happened. Then there was the George Floyd murder. I got really passionate about doing diversity work in corporate spaces. And so I quit my full-time job, went part-time, started working in diversity, did some diversity stuff for about 6 months as we kicked off a program. And then I went back full-time being in HR, leading employee experience. And I guess one of the things that I've just always been passionate about is like we spend so much time at work that if we can make work a safer space to be, I just think of the amount of like trauma seems like such a heavy word, but honestly, trauma is like little things, you know, it's like not getting the promotion you wanted, finally applying internally and being courageous and then not getting it or not even getting good feedback afterwards. And so that's a big mission of mine, is just to make work a little bit safer. And yeah, so that's that.
That's fantastic. I want to spend some time on this because this is so important and critical. So a lot of, we've on a different podcast I host, co-host, we talk a lot about culture. And company culture. But if individuals do not have psychological safety, that can make a big difference. So can you just talk to us more about what you're doing in the space and unpack trauma a little bit in the workplace?
Absolutely. Yeah. So like initially when I first got really excited about this topic, it was through the lens of diversity, which I very much agree with, support, and what I believe, though, so many organizations, especially ones that I've been able to work with firsthand, is that some of us have accidentally skipped over the psychological safety piece before we started talking about how we're all different.
Sure.
And so what I believe being able to find and encourage those spaces where you can say, like, this is my whole self. I'm taking the step to say, like, something's not, something isn't jiving and here's why, or like here, you know, like being able to be that much more open matters so much. Without going super in depth into it, like one of the reasons I worked at LinkedIn for 10 years was because I was really passionate about some of the culture activities that they did there. And one of the big reasons is it was actually one of the first places where I learned more about domestic violence and the different avenues of domestic violence. Some of them are not physical. And I realized like that was something that I was struggling with. I had never heard it anyplace else. And it was the first time that someone taught something to me where I could learn it in a safe environment and then realize I wanted to make some changes in my life. And I'll forever be grateful to the women's group for allowing that speaker to come in.
That's fantastic. And yes, And just having the support within the organization to help people understand it, because what it also does, I'm assuming, is it makes it easier to have conversations with your colleagues. You're with them all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you're going through hard stuff and maybe things aren't being delivered on time and all sorts of things that just happen at work, people can take it out of this like black and white performance mindset and like really try to understand you. Is that part of this too?
100%, because we're like whole humans who show up at work. And we have we have KPIs we're trying to hit, but we also have whole lives outside of work that we're working through as well. Right. And it absolutely can affect that. And so being able to be a better leader because you recognize that makes such a difference.
I love it. Okay, we can talk for many minutes about this, but you have, you mentioned the institute you're working with.
Yes.
Okay.
Institute of Trauma and Psychological Safety.
Okay, got it. I'll park that behind here. Okay. So you have some workshops coming up, I believe.
Do.
Okay. So can you tell us about the Institute and then also what the workshops are?
Absolutely. So the Institute is led by Dr. Lee Cordell. I have worked now with her. I actually joined a year-long program of hers initially, then became a teacher trainer, then hired her to be my coach, working with her one-on-one. And now she has asked me to come in and lead their group program starting in 2024. Awesome. And for me, it's changed so much I've gotten to learn more. I always thought trauma was like big, terrible things that happen and how that affects us. But it's actually so much more that happens in everyday life.
Yeah.
And how some of those things have affected, those past painful experiences of mine have affected how I show up in relationship to other people, how I show up in the spotlight, all of those things. And so it's been so impactful to me that I'm excited to be able to work with them more.
Yeah. And the workshops you're leading are?
Okay. So next Monday, so that is November 20th, Tuesday and Wednesday. So the 20th through the 22nd, we're doing 3 90-minute workshops, and it's called, like, under the brand name, the event's called Here to Help.
Okay.
And so we are calling anyone who identifies as a helper.
Here, HEAR?
Here as in right here, right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I thought it was like here, like I'm listening and I'm helping.
But we're doing a whole lot of that.
Anyway,
too.
go on.
So essentially what we're going to be talking about is different ways that we show up in help and in service of others. And sometimes we do it sacrificially, and sometimes we do it from a place of like maybe control, or maybe, there's other motives going on there. Or sometimes we do it because we really want to, but we have no idea how to regulate how much space we actually have to be able to give to other people. Yeah. And so that's what we want to talk about, because especially going into the holidays, we're going to be having the opportunity to help so many people that we love and care about. And also finding ways that we can help ourselves and keep ourselves full in the process is super, super important.
That is great. So do you have specific topics for each of the 90-minute sessions?
We sure do. Okay. And don't ask me what they are, because I don't remember them.
That's okay. No worries. So we'll skip that for now.
Yeah.
You can pull out your phone if you need to double check.
You got it. You got it.
But no, the reason why I was asking the question is it's really cool that it's right before Thanksgiving too. And just this holiday season that introduces a lot of different stresses and things for people. So
100%. So the event's free. And so we'll, when this is posted, drop the link in the notes. And feel free to check it out. There are going to be recordings available as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, we're really looking forward to it. As of right now, there's like 175 people that are registered.
Love that. Yeah. Let's see if we can boost that. Will there be time for like live Q&A, or is it more?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yep. Absolutely. It's going to be great.
Good. Yes. And a lot of us are like helper types, people pleaser. I definitely have that in my tendencies, or tendency, whatever, as a human.
Yeah.
But working on not doing that so much, because I always tell my friends, I'm like, look, no is a complete sentence. And it's really important to remember that. And it's okay to have people find other options, and you don't have to be the solution to everyone's thing. So
100% agreed. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 30 seconds left. Anything else you want folks to know about what's coming up for you, or these, the workshops, or anything else you want to share?
Oh gosh. We always end the podcast, or we're starting to end the podcast with like, what's one thing that we want to share with women here in Nebraska. And I think it's the best way that we can help others is if we learn how to help ourselves first.
That's true. They always say, put your own mask on first. I always think about this on airplanes. I'm like, yes, that is like some of the best life advice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Life in, life out.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thanks for being a guest again. You're awesome.